You guys are going to make audio fun today, aren't you?
Oh, it's someone like way down there.
Yep. It's you. You're the one making all the noise. Quiet, you. Hey guys, how's it going? So, back at the truck again today. Not sure where to start really, because I know it runs. Ideally at the end of the day I would like to drive it, but I don't know if I will. I technically still have to drain the fuel tanks. The alternator still isn't hooked up. I need... What else do I need? I need to figure out what is making all of the noise back here. So I did buy a compression tester so I could see what's going on there, or at least what cylinder is there making all the noise, and go from there. So, all sorts of things. I think what I'm going to start on first though is the alternator, because if I have a solid ground all the way around, then I don't have to worry about the booster cables that I've been using to complete the ground every time, which will make it just a little bit easier. So I think that's where I'm going to start actually. A couple weeks ago I hit up the pick and pull again, and I was able to find, I think it was an 87 F-150, but it also had the 351. So I pulled the alternator bracketry off of that, so that should work. So I guess let's start there and see if I can get that hooked up properly. Why are you making fun of me?
I'm not. Still posting, but I just recorded like 10 seconds and went, John the Schreiner is John the Schreinering. I turned you into a verb? Adjective?
So I did take videos of the other engine when I was taking parts out of it. Okay, so it's still the 5.8 liter. It is a 87 at the very least. I just took this off. This went to the top bracket of the alternator. This bracket came up and around the AC compressor. So if I take this bracket, which is connected back there somewhere, and to here, I can't see for sure how that comes out. So we will see, but I might have finally found an alternator, or an alternator bracket. Let's see if this comes out. Oh, there's the bottom one. Connects back here and comes around the bottom. So that's the tensioner for that. So that will still need to come with me, I think, at the very least, but yeah. That's the piece I was missing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because that would be the engine block back there. Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, for future reference, the nut for the alternator tensioner goes to the back of the alternator. Still connects right there. Okay, that's about it. Hello. Okay, so this one went there and that was coming up and around here, so that'll be the top for the alternator. This little bolt went into this one, which held, hold on, this portion. Oops. And it went from here, scooped underneath the alternator, and then this faced out toward the front of the alternator, which was over here. This was at the back. So I should be able to just follow that and pop everything back in. Like, I grabbed the bolts and everything that came with it, so this should all fit. But I don't know for sure, so we will see what happens. So since the other truck that I pulled this from had AC, I wonder if I need to add in a couple spacers to account. Like, I did grab the AC bracket off of it, because it was probably something like that between the two. So that would have given me the offset. But I could probably just grab a couple washers and do the same thing. No, I guess we're good. It looks like it'll bottom out against the bracket, so no problem there. Hopefully I didn't just send it like into the block and broke something. I didn't feel any snapping or breaking or anything like that, so it should be okay. Except that part is just really sticky to get back out. And I guess actually I don't necessarily want to tighten this down all the way, because it will tighten when I have the alternator on, and it'll tighten to that. There we go. That's closer than I have been to having that hooked up this whole time. Okay. I need this. Or was it the other one? This one. Okay, that's bottoming out, so I think I need one of the other bolts. Nice. That should hook up to the bottom, and it more or less lines up with everything else. It is the wrong pulley, but that can be switched out with one of the extra ones I have here. It'll work for testing things out. So I do not understand the logic behind this. Why would you put the bracket holding the alternator that you have to screw in to the back? That makes no sense to me. Like, hey, here's your tensioning. Put it at the back so it's hard to get to. Engineers. Here is the belt that was here. Come on. Are you being stubborn? There we go. In theory that should work. Let's tighten everything down. Oh, that's not going to work. I still need a ground cable. Do I have an extra ground cable? Okay, so here's the ground cable that I believe I originally pulled out of the truck. It should work. We will see. I guess I could hook it there. That would work. It's grounded to the block at least. And it's long enough that it would reach. Yeah, screw it. That's where I'll put it. Okay, hit that with a file so it has a little bit of a cleaner connection. Wire brush. Do the same for this. Let's get a washer. Okay. See if it wants to turn over on its own. There we go. It's got an actual ground. Progress was made.
Good.
Kind of. Looks like it's supposed to, I guess. I don't know. Get the little bit of debris I see I knocked in there out. Try to, at least. For as much noise as was coming out of there, I am surprised it looks as clean as it does. I guess let's turn it over, and then I can see what it's doing. Okay.
It was like stuck.
They do that, yeah. Okay, so all of those are moving like I would have expected. Shoot.
There's a lot of melting happening in here.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's how I've been starting it last year. If the key worked, I'd just get you to do the key, but it doesn't right now. And I haven't figured that out.
Hi, baby girl.
Cool. I have no idea why there is so much noise happening in there when it's running. So based on the noise I was getting up here, I was fully expecting one of these to be locked up or broken or something. But they're all moving like they're... Well, in theory, they're all moving like they're supposed to. So I don't know. I'm gonna call that good enough. Is it? I don't know. So I have my jerry can here. I got my fuel pump routed, return and supply. That is hooked up to that, hooked up to the factory fuel pump, or the mechanical fuel pump, because I forgot my electric one. Not that I was using it. I have this alternator hooked up, so it has its own ground now finally, so I dumped a bunch of this down the carb already. Let's see if it fires off. Yeah, this sounds like It's dinner time, so I guess I'll go do that. I said I was going to be back after dinner, and, you know, technically I am. It's just I've had several dinners since then. I've been thinking about this since I was looking at it last, and I think I'm kind of at the point where I need to make a decision. With the around 6 hours I have whenever I come out to the farm to work on this, it gives me a little bit of time to work on it, but not an absolute ton. And it's at the point where I might need to call it. Whether I cut my losses with this and park it back in the bush, or I pull the engine out and work on it over the course of the spring. I don't know yet. Or over the course of... I'm not pulling the engine out today. But in the spring, I might... If I decide to do that, I might do that. Because it's like... I'll play with it a little bit more today. Maybe I'm getting worried about nothing. I can pull this valve cover off because I didn't pull this side yet. I pulled that side, not this side. So I could pull this valve cover off, and maybe the issue with the bag of pennies that's running through the engine is on this side, because that side looked fine. If it's not, then I need to pull the intake, which, like, I can figure it out, I'm sure, but I've never done it before. I don't know how long it's going to take. Most likely, it's going to take me more than the 6 hours I have. I can check the timing. Same thing, to get to the timing chain. I have done it before. I apparently need to pull the radiator and everything. That's going to take me more time than I have. To pull the cylinder heads, same thing. That's going to take me a fair bit of time. And I can do all that in my shop. It's just a matter of getting the engine there, or getting the truck there. The truck can't drive there on its own power in this situation. Or as it is, it can't do that. I'm sure it will send a piston through the hood. And I don't have the time to spend out here 100% to work on it either. So, if I can't figure out what's making the banging noise today, or making all the metal noise today, yeah, that'll kind of be that'll be where I'm sitting. If I'm pulling the engine in the spring, or if it's getting parked. I don't know. We'll see. So, I guess let's pull the air cleaner back off, hook the battery back up, pull the cylinder head, and... not the cylinder head, the valve cover, and we'll just see. I guess if I can get it running again today, something else I could do is even test and see if the transmission runs or works, because that will also affect my decision on whether or not I park it again or shove it back in the bush, or whether it's still worth me spending the time on here. Okay. Wrenches. Come on. Okay. Yeah, that's why I picked up a new set of gaskets. No idea if that helped or if it made it worse. Cool. I don't need it firing right now, so just pull the coil out of the equation. Okay, I need to find the booster pack. All right. Positive. Negative. Power in. Full charge. All right, let's watch these valves again. Yeah, they all look like they're moving fine, so I have no idea what the problem is. I guess I'll bump this down to just trickle charge, and I'll put the valve cover back on, and we'll do compression tests, I guess. $90 something. Huh, 120. 110. Cord. Apparently, everyone gets mad at me when I call spark plug wires cords. It's not cords. I've never seen anyone call it a cord before. What do you even know what you're doing? No, I don't. Not a mechanic. Just a guy who knows enough to be dangerous. Really? Okay, that one's bad. 50. So there's definitely some issues. $90, okay. $110. $90. Let me guess. 50. Oh. No. 100. Okay. So, cylinder 4 is the one that's goofy. Means it's deeper in the engine than I can deal with today. Let's turn the key on, start throwing some fuel down. Let's see what happens. Well, I ran and idled. Why won't you idle anymore? You did idle. Are you just too cold? Not getting enough spark? I don't know. So, I don't know what's wrong with it. And I don't have the expertise to be able to diagnose it. And I definitely don't have the time or skill to do it today. So, I guess that means I have a decision to make over the winter. If absolutely nothing else, I did get the dash put back together. So, that's something. Key still doesn't work though. And I figured out why the headlights might not work, since I bumped that switch and it just crumbled from the base. So, come on, lights. I don't think that's gonna work. So if I can't get the truck working, how'd you guys like to see this coming back? Not coming back, I guess. You've never seen it before. This is actually my old van. Oh, that's great. Stupid cows. It's a 97 Chevy Astro, all-wheel drive. Well, that's what it says there. It's actually rear-wheel drive at the moment because there was an issue with the transfer case in front. So we pulled the drive shaft for that. So now it's just rear-wheel drive. And there's an ABS issue. And I believe there's a wheel bearing gone in the front. But as far as I know, runs and drives. So this one, if I can't get the truck running, wouldn't be too bad. Oh, cow's rubbing up against that too. This could be a fun one to get going again. Actually, both of these are my old vans. This one, first gear, the transmission is shot. And there's electrical issues and all that. So, maybe not that one. That one, though, could be an option. So it's been a couple of weeks since I was out working on the truck last, and before I left back to the city, I was chatting with Dad, and he said, so not including anything you've done on the truck since you started playing with it, what was it that made Grandpa park it 30 years ago to begin with? And truthfully, I don't really know. I was always told it was electrical issues and that's why it wasn't running. I know that era of Ford had the Duraspark box system or whatever it was called, and I know that those boxes like to fail randomly, so I was assuming that was the case. Since this is the only Ford that was out at the farm, it made sense to me that Grandpa might not have known that, combined with the fact that it was a lot harder to look things up 30 years ago. However, since the spark box was salvaged for our old International 4000 swather, I'm guessing not. My little bit of research says that the 4000 used the same era AMC inline 6 engine, which used the same spark box. My other theory was that my uncle or someone was playing with it and put the spark plug wires out of order, and again, without being able to easily look it up, could have gone with the GM firing order or something like that. I never did check what it was before I pulled all of them off the F-350. So I got to thinking I couldn't get the F-350 to fire at all until I adjusted the position of the spark plug wires over one cylinder, and then it fired. And that's when it sounded like the engine was going to come apart. My current theory now is that I did have the spark plug wires in the correct spot, just the engine at some point had skipped over 45 degrees in timing, which is why it quit running 30 years ago, why I couldn't get it running before moving the spark plug wires, and why it is barely running now and sounding like it's self-destructing. At this point in the year, the truck could be under a foot of snow at any day now, so basically I have the winter to read over the Haynes manual and figure out what parts I may or may not need and come up with a game plan, so hopefully in the spring again I can actually get this thing moving again. So yeah, overall I'm feeling a little bit better about it now than I was when I was picking up my tools the other day. And with that, I'm going to call it a video. Thank you all for watching, and if you like what I'm doing here, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. If you have any questions or comments, I look forward to reading them in the comment section below. And if you want to see more up-to-date content, you can always follow me on Instagram at John the Schreiner. Otherwise, I will see you here in the next video, and have a good one. And if you're only here for the truck videos, I will see you sometime in the spring.